Welcome back, you beautiful fucks. It's me, Danny, back again with another video. Today, we're looking at some Mogeras and also talk about some Playmates stuff. Also, bonus, we're looking at the Giant Condor figure that I have. That's not really Giant Condor, it's not official, but I found it on Amazon. It kind of looks like it. Here it is. I forget what it's called, but you can find this guy on Amazon. Just look up like Condor figure or something, or Vulture figure. It's like 20 bucks, maybe even less. A subscriber actually messaged me on Instagram. He has this figure too, and he actually painted it, and it looks way better than mine because I did not paint it. Mine's just the generic color, which I'm not a good painter, so I'm not gonna go. Well, I like some of the other things I painted, but I'll leave this one alone. But his was definitely way better. Shout out to him. But it scales pretty well for the Giant Condor. You know, it's not the biggest guy ever, but still nice to have for representation purposes. We're moving on though, because now we're looking at our Drill Boy Mogera. This is the Bandai Movie Monster series version that you can find on Amazon. Some of you guys probably already have this. It's a solid figure, you know, basic points of movement. Looks good. Mogera's, you know, not the most detailed. He's a pretty smooth guy. It's a pretty smooth bot. So he looks good. I don't have the tag on him. I do have the tag. I recently went through a whole thing of cutting off tags for figures that are, you know, not like that rare, and just shoving them all in like a binder with like the trading card sleeves, and I like it. I prefer my figures without the tag unless for some reason it has some kind of value. Other than that, most of them I just want to take them off. I'll save the card, so I did that. And you know, that probably bothers some of you. This is the Pact of Destruction Mogera. Just ripped his arm off. That's great. I used to do that all the time when I had it as a kid. This is the one from my childhood, actually. As you can tell how worn it is. The first Mogera figure I ever had. But it's a nice little guy. Shout out to Bandai Creations for, you know, representing him. Now this is the Gashapon. I think that's how you say it. But this is the original Mogera from the Mysterians movie, which I believe came out in '57. I may be wrong about that, but he just appears in, like, towards the beginning of the movie, and that's it. Not a big fan of that design. That's why I just kind of, there's a Movie Monster series, or an 8-inch Movie Monster Bandai figure of that, but it's a couple $100 now, and I just didn't feel like getting it. Plus, I feel like the antennas are always not attached whenever I try to find it, so I just got the smaller version. It was cheaper, and I'm okay with that. Now this is an 8-inch version of the regular, or not regular, I don't want to be disrespectful to the OG, but the Mogera that we're kind of used to from the Heisei era. And it's a cool figure, but time was not on his side. This is unfortunately the disadvantage of soft vinyl figures, that over time, if they're kind of, you know, under pressure or some kind of heat, they'll warp. And yeah, so he does not stand up well at all. When I have him on my shelf, he's leaning on something, some kind of backing, because yeah, he doesn't stand. And he has some markings. I don't care about markings though, it's an old figure. But that's how he compares. He's much bigger, but he still looks very nice. Same points of movement, just the hands, but just can't stand up. He's an old guy, you know. It's an old figure, old man, just kind of, you know, he needs a walker, that's all. There he is with his younger son. Younger son. No shit, he's younger. What am I on? Look at those great figures. They're all great, including the Vulture and the Gashapon figure. Alright, that's enough of Mogera. It's time to move on to these leaks that some of you probably already heard of. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to be shot by a sniper or an assassin sent by Playmates for showing these. And I don't want to spoil anyone, but I would also say if you don't want to be spoiled, probably don't watch the rest of this video. But we're going to talk about these because it's figures, and I like figures. So, the 3 images I'm looking at are of our boys Godzilla, Kong, and something else. So, I'm just going to give my quick thoughts on this. First of all, the toys always end up leaking. Like, that's kind of normal at this point, especially with the Monsterverse. We already know how that happened with Mechagodzilla and Warbat. So, it is what it is, and I was fully expecting this, and there's going to be more to come. So, this movie doesn't come out till March of next year, so we still have a lot of time. Also, just talk about the box art really quick. I think it's kind of a little bit of a downgrade, but it's also just box art, so who gives a shit? And it's a pre-render, so it could change. However, there's parts of this box art that have people questioning the validity of this because it's clearly taken from, well, I'm kind of looking at it, maybe it's edited obviously for reasons, but it appears like some of this stuff is just taken from fan art, which has a lot of people questioning if this really is true. But there's also, I saw someone else on Twitter who posted screenshots from MonsterVerse clips, removed from clips in some of the movies, where Legendary has actually used fan art before, and I don't even think they credit the artist really. So it's all in, it's all fair game, I guess, And then KDM, who is a reliable source, some of you may know him, I've talked about him before. He was talking about how, to kind of watch out for these if you don't want to be spoiled, because at least one of them, he was saying, is pretty close. He didn't specify which one, but I think I know which one it is. My guess is on the other thing, if you know what I mean. But it is what it is. So looking at this Godzilla that I'm looking at, it looks cool. We're not going into spoilers. It doesn't really say much. It just kind of gives a hint of what could happen in the movie. So it looks cool. It also just looks like they took the regular Godzilla figure from the Godzilla vs. Kong line and just repainted it. So, but, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Except for the eyes, because the eyes are always wonky on these figures, so I'd hope they fix that at least. But then you have the Kong figure. That's one of the more intriguing ones. I won't go into details, but if you guys have seen it, you know why. I think that's actually kind of cool. I hope that part's at least true, because I would like to see that in the movie. And then you have the other guy, who I want to say, again, if you don't want to be spoiled, get out of here. The kindest way possible. Leave. I'm going to say it. He looks like Anguirus. If you guys seen this picture, tell me I'm wrong. He looks like someone took Anguirus and shoved him in a freezer. Or spray painted him light blue. I had this idea that, if they're going to continue the MonsterVerse and they're not going to bring in Toho monsters, then they should probably play with the idea of, combining Toho monsters, but then, renaming it. That way it's, their own thing, but it's still kind of, it's like, hey, this is kind of like this monster and that monster, but in one. And I thought that'd be cool. And this seems like, they just took Anguirus and gave it elements of Space Godzilla. From what we heard about the previous leaks and what this monster can do. So, obviously we don't know its full capabilities because we don't have the movie out. So we'll have to wait and see. But it just looks like Anguirus. I hope, though, and these are just early renders, so it's not official, but I hope also that he's bigger, because supposedly this monster is special for reasons. So I hope that he's actually bigger, because he kind of looks smaller than Godzilla and Kong when it comes to this toy render. But you know what? I think us Godzilla fans are also kind of used to the big monsters that's supposed to tower over the other ones being really small in toy form. Biollante and Destroya. Since anytime those figures come out, they're never the right scale. But I digress. That's a big word. Anyway, these figures, they look cool. Again, we don't take it with a grain of salt. We don't know if these are true. They could be completely fake. We'll just have to wait and see until the next batch of leaked figures come out, if we can confirm this. But I'm just happy we're getting more figures. That's just awesome. I like collecting figures. I hope you do too. They're fun. I'm more so also hoping that there's more MonsterVerse figures to come between now and then. Not just for the next movie, but it'd be nice if they started putting that King Ghidorah figure on shelves for people to pick up, or just make it easier for people to get here in the States. Because right now the only way is really Amazon, and it's 3 times the normal price. I also like to see some of the other figures, and it'd be cool if they did some Skull Island merch too. But, you know, at this point, I think it's all a dream. I don't think Playmates cares that much, to be honest. I'll get into that once I actually do my video on ranking. I know I said I was going to, like, rank some of the, or at least give my thoughts on, like, Playmates, Bandai, and all those other companies. Especially you, Super 7. We have something to talk about, because I've seen those new figures coming out. And I got my Biolante going to be on the way soon. So I definitely got some words about that. Anyway, I digress. Again, look at my vocabulary. It's improving. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you had a good day. Next week we'll be talking about other things. I don't know which figure yet, but I'll probably do my thoughts on the companies. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.